You guys have heard the saying that no good deed goes unpunished, haven't you? It goes way back. It's an old saying. No good deed goes unpunished. Now, I'm not saying that's a biblical saying. I'm not saying that's something that I found in the Bible. But I do want to tell you that I can take that saying and I can find some biblical things to back that up. But what I'm not saying is, I'm not saying that it's God punishing you for good deeds. I'm going to tell you, the punishment comes through powerful, dark, spiritual forces that are against you. In Hebrew, the Hebrew word for opposition is Satan. Satan. It means opposition, opposer, or adversary. In other words, Satan is against you. Now, when you are doing something that is beneficial to someone else or for yourself or anything that's doing good in this world, doing the things that Jesus taught us, right? Because when we do what Jesus taught us, we're acting like our true selves. Do you understand? When you are doing good deeds, you are acting like who you're meant to be. When you're doing good deeds to get good, to be good, to get a special position by God, that now it's for the wrong reason. Those are religious reasons. You're trying to justify yourself through good behavior, good actions. But when you do good because you have the good one in you, not separate from you, but one with you, that means inside of you, the true you, the spirit you, is good. So when you're doing good, you're actually working out the spirit you. You're developing your character because you're getting your soul and your mind in tune with who you truly are. You're rejecting the false lies that were told about you, and you're living the truth about who you are. Do you understand? You're doing good from a position of already being good and justified in God's eyes, in spirit. Now it's getting your mind, your soul, and even your body to figure it out. So it's great to practice good things, good deeds, good actions, because it's you acting like who you're truly meant to be. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so if you get that, now going back to this, no good deed goes unpunished. Well, if you experience things in life where when you actually do something good and disaster shortly afterward follows, you're not alone. And a lot of us might misinterpret it as, is God trying to punish me? Is nothing I do good enough for God? Now, okay, so I want to share something with you guys. I wasn't going to share this ever before. This was something that was quiet between me and God, because Jesus said not to let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. But he says, let your Father who sees everything in secret, let him see what you're doing, and he'll give you your reward. But so when you're not letting your left hand know what your right hand is doing, basically you're not telling everybody about all the good stuff you did so they'll pat you on the back and, oh, look at how good you are. Because when you do that, that's your reward. You're already getting paid in full by getting all the, oh, good boy, good girl stuff from people. You understand? Now, it's never, don't think that it's something that, well, what if I have a great testimony to share? Should I keep that secret? No. Testimony is great for encouragement, you guys. It's building each other up. But when you're giving testimonies just to elevate yourself and to brag about how great you are, and maybe you even you act like you're super humble, but deep down inside you're not. You're always wanting recognition from others. Hey, listen, I know that life. As a former Jehovah's Witness, most Jehovah's Witnesses are in it to get recognition from others. Okay, most of them are. The majority. They want recognition from others. It's all about impressing others, right? But you don't need to do that anymore, especially when you got Christ in you, right? You want to walk in truth, just do the good stuff. And if you want to share a testimony, give the glory to God. It's not that God's saying you're worthless. Listen, you're his son, you're his daughter. When a father is watching their son play in a baseball game, let's say, their son made it to the major leagues. The father taught his son how to play baseball or took him to baseball training or games, and the kid got to play, and then he grows up to be a professional baseball player, and the father is out in the stands watching his son hit a home run. Does the father think, oh, that son of mine better not take the glory for that home run. He better give it all to me. That worthless nothing. He better praise me. And when they hand him the microphone and they say, what do you have to say about your home run today? I'm nothing. It's all because of my Father. Some of us think that that's how God is. And when you give the glory to God, that's what you're doing, because he doesn't want you to get any praise at all. He wants it all for himself. How dare my son, my daughter, think they did anything right? They're supposed to thank me for it and give me all the glory. See, you got a wrong view about God. But also, don't be that snob that says, yeah, I'm all that and everybody else is a loser. Me, it's a praise me day. You don't have to be that way either, right? There's a maturity. Some people take things to such extremes. It's just like, ugh. I bet you're sick of hearing of these extremes and the toxic junk out there, right? Especially when it comes to God. I think we really need to see God as a loving Father and not equal to the jerks out there that call themselves fathers or loving fathers, the egomaniacs, the narcissists. But anyhow, so your Father, he loves it when he's seeing you hit a home run in life. And I'm not talking about baseball now, you know what I'm saying? But when you're actually using the gifts that are in you, like love. Love is something that comes from your spirit. True love is. Not the fake love. Not the self-love that you see rampant today. Not the narcissistic, egotistical, me-first love that you see today. We're talking about true, self-sacrificial, agape love. The love that does never fail. See, that's in your spirit. And when God sees you using what he gave you, oh, it makes him so happy. Right? Because it's actually good for you as a son or a daughter of God. You're doing good for yourself. Do you know Jesus said there's more happiness in giving than receiving? There's something behind that. And listen, if it works for you to give to somebody instead of just receiving all the time, and you get to experience that happiness, well, what do you think about when God, our Father, does something for us? If Jesus says there's more happiness in giving than receiving, you're thinking that God only wants to receive from you and receive from you, you worthless slave. See, but is that really what makes God happy? Watching you slave for him, a servant mentality. How about when God gives to you, and then that gift he gave you, you actually use it. You don't just keep it in a box and say, I'm never going to open it and stick it in a closet somewhere. See, that's using. God loves to see that you use the gifts that he's given to you, right? Just like a parent, when you give your child a toy and the child doesn't want to play with it, you're bummed out. Man, if I bought this doggy that's at my house, little Luna, if I got her a toy and she's like, and never played with it, I'd be bummed. Oh, man. She doesn't like the toy, see? But it gives God happiness when he sees that you actually love to use what you've been given by him. And trust me, when he gives you something, it's amazing and good. So I want to share something that I wasn't going to share, but I figured, I do want to share it, and I'm going to try to tie it into stuff, because if you're wondering, how come whenever it seems like I do something good, something bad happens to me? That's not God doing the bad. It's the enemy. The enemy wants you to get works-minded, where you better perform better for God. See, if you do a good deed, and then something bad happens to you, you're going to be thinking about the good deed that you did and why isn't it good enough for God. You're going to get into that mentality thinking where your brain's going to automatically go into performing for God, and no matter how much you do, it's still not enough. Do more. And then you'll start hating God and resenting God, because no matter how much good I do, why aren't his angels around at least to protect me or something? Why doesn't he protect me? I remember during COVID, I went into this church, and people could wear the masks or not wear masks. It was up to them. How neat. And people were hugging each other and giving each other handshakes and all this stuff. How great. I went to that church. I leave. I got sick. I didn't get COVID, but I got something. It was attached to me. Of course, I fought it off. Took some time. But I'm like, this really sucks, because now I got to miss work. I got to do this because I'm not feeling well. I got something sniffly, and it's going to scare people. And I'm a believer in healing, but you know what? Whatever it was got on me, and I caught it from going to church. See what happens? But that's not what I wanted to share with you. I want to share something else. But before I share something else, let me give you another example. Years ago, I had a church invite me to be a guest speaker. So I go, and I was the guest speaker. Afterward, I'm talking to people out in the parking lot. Right, I'm one of the last people to leave, and a woman that was in the parking lot waves me down and asks if I can give her a hand. So I went over there to give her a hand, because I thought maybe she had something heavy that she was trying to put in her car. Didn't know. So I go over there, and she had a flat tire, and she asked me if I could change her flat tire for her. So we open the trunk of her car where her spare tire is, and then the little toolkit in her car to put that spare tire on. So if you guys know what a lug nut wrench is, I got the lug nut wrench. That's the wrench that unscrews the lug nuts that are on the wheel. So I start unscrewing the lug nuts, and the last lug nut that I got to, it was on the right passenger front wheel. The right passenger side front wheel. So as soon as I got that last lug nut, it was super tight. And I'm a pretty strong guy. And I've always been known to have really ridiculous strong arms. And I took that lug nut wrench and I pulled, because that lug nut was so tight. And I heard the sound. It sounded like when somebody cracks their knuckles. I heard it in my arm. The sound went into my ear. And I heard it. And I'm thinking in my head, that's weird. How come my arm made a knuckle popping sound? Whatever. So I fix her tire. She leaves. Thank you so much. I get in my car to drive away, and oh, my arm hurt so bad. And the pain became so excruciating. I tore a tendon in my bicep. Thankfully, the tendon didn't snap. If it would have snapped, my bicep would have coiled up like a little golf ball in my arm. But the tendon had multiple tears in it. And it took a while to heal. But it healed way faster than normal, way faster than natural. The doctor was shocked because I had a guy look at it and put a ultrasound, which is kind of like a topical MRI, and he saw all the tears in my bicep tendon. And he said it's going to take a long time, and in 1 month it healed. And it shocked him because it's not supposed to heal that fast. But, you know, I just kept declaring the truth over myself, that I am healed. I'm healed. I'm healed. So anyway, so, you know, that's a good deed. I'm changing this woman's tire. I get a torn tendon and I have to suffer. And in the pain, you know, it might have healed in a month, but the pain lasted a long time. But here's what's crazy. That torn tendon changed everything about the way I work out today. And the way I work out today is Mr. Ego doesn't come into the gym with me. Mr. Ego stays outside of the gym while I'm in the gym. So I don't do this heavy stuff to show off or grunt loud so people can pay attention to me. I'm really tuned in to developing my muscles injury-free. I actually would like to teach that to people. I'm thinking of starting up something soon. I'm not sure when, but anyway, soon. So in the long run, it's actually that thing that was meant to get me down, make me not be able to work out the same anymore, probably bum me out for life. Actually, it's changed into something that if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And so what was meant to curse me, well, actually that curse got reversed and it did me a favor. And my technique, my form, the amount of weight, the way I hold it, everything's so much better than even in my younger days, okay? So recently, so you guys, when you saw me making my videos starting in 2020, I started before that, but my channel got hacked, so, and all my videos are gone. Somebody came in and stole my channel and tore down all my videos. But anyway, so you guys have seen me driving in my car, and you didn't know what kind of car it was, but it was a 1996 Nissan Maxima. And it was low mileage. Up to 2 weeks ago, about, if even that, maybe a week ago. Actually, yeah, a week ago, up to a week ago, that Nissan Maxima was at almost, I think it was at 140, maybe close to 141,000 miles. Now, when I was using my Nissan Maxima, because in the month of May of 2022, my, you know, I got fired from my job because of the whole you-know-what thing going on and me not wanting to do what my boss wanted me to do. So I didn't get the magic potion injected into me and all that, which led to me being fired. And so I didn't have another job in line or planned. I didn't want to go looking into another hair salon to go work for some other company. I said, you know what? I'm going to be self-employed and I'm going to do my own thing. And so I went mobile. The thing is, in my little Nissan Maxima, which, you know, still low mileage for the year it was in great condition. I took good care of it. My mechanic told me that's an excellent car. Don't ever sell it. It's so good. And I put money into it, you know, when things happened. I was on my way to a 3-day church event in a town called Temecula here in Southern California. I drive to that church. Oh, I shouldn't even share this with you, but I will. I'm just going to share it. And I never want to share things that I do, you know, to make it sound like I'm boasting or something. But it's enough time's gone by, so something in me told me to give the guy that was traveling with his team that were guest speakers at this church. Something told me to give him $760 in cash as a gift. And when I did, I wrapped it, you know those hair ties? Those ties when people put their hair in ponytails? Little black ones, or they come in different colors, but I took this little black hair tie and put the money in it, $760. And I, for some reason, that number came to mind. And when I gave the money to that guy, he's like, wow, remind me, he looked at it and said, wow, remind me to tell you a story about the rubber band thing, the hair tie band. He says it's amazing. Well, then the next 3 days, you know, the whole thing, and he never, I mean, we talked again, but he never mentioned it, you know, he didn't mention the money or anything, and I didn't do it to get thank yous from him, but didn't ever get the thank yous from him after that, and he never mentioned the hair tie, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna leave it alone, but I gave it to him just to give it to him, and I didn't need him to praise me or thank me, you know, and whatever, so, but I never heard about the hair tie thing from him. And that day that I gave him the money, when I left, it was really hot, and it was in the summertime. And my car's AC broke down on my drive home. The air conditioning went out and hot air was only hot air was blowing out of that car. And I'm like, wow. No, I wasn't thinking, thanks God. I give this guy money, and now you don't protect my air conditioning, and the air conditioning cost me $1,000 to replace, $950. Okay, so paid the mechanic that. Now, I didn't have a whole bunch of money. $760 was a lot of money for me to give that guy, but I did it. And then my air conditioning breaks down my car, and now I gotta use $1,000 and fix it. Because you know what? If I don't have the AC on when I'm driving around and doing videos, my phone overheats. I wouldn't be able to make any more videos while I'm driving. So I get that fixed. Anyway, I'm just talking about the good deeds. And you might be thinking, you know, at least God could protect you or the angels. You know, when you think that stuff, I want you to remember something. And it'll help you to detach from materialistic things, material in the world. Yes, we want our material things to be great. You might want a nice, expensive car. You want protection over your things. Yes, I believe in that. But when things happen to your material things, you know, wasn't Jesus that said, store your treasures up in heaven? Don't worry about the earthly stuff where they can rust and fall apart and it just, you know, goes bad. Things go bad here on earth, right? Pick an apple from a tree, put it on your counter. Don't touch it for a few weeks. What happens? It goes rotten, right? Let your car sit around. Don't drive it for a good month. What happens? The battery usually dies. You know, it's like things get corrupted. Things go bad, right? Jesus says, store your treasures up in heaven. Don't worry about the earth stuff. So when earth stuff happens, I know right now because I'm really working on developing my character, right? Taking the Christ in me and just letting my soul and my mind be in tune with it and walking and talking and thinking in it. I want to actively rest in God. rest. Enter in, rest in him, but be actively resting, right? It's like Noah, the guy that built the ark, his name, Noah, means rest in Hebrew. And did he live up to his name? Yeah, because rest means to trust. When you're resting in God, you're trusting in God. Noah trusted God so much that he built this giant boat when they never experienced floods coming down. They didn't need giant boats, but he did it anyway. Probably got ridiculed like crazy, but he did it, right? He was super active building a huge, ginormous boat called the ark, but he was resting at the same time because he was trusting God. He never would have built the ark if he didn't trust God in the first place. You get it? So he rested more than any character, most characters that you read about in the Bible. So I'm trying to do that. Really develop the character within and not worry about being attached to things on earth, even people, I've lost so many people in my life in so many different ways. And, it's not fun to go through, but I don't want to be attached to earth things, right? I want to be attached to what's in the spirit and learn to live in that realm, not in the earth realm, but in the spirit realm. Jesus says, you're in the world, but you don't got to be a part of it. Do you understand it? You might be in it, but you don't have to be a part of it, right? It's like politics. I take politics, I draw a circle, and I say, there's all politics. Doesn't matter what side, I put it all in the circle. And I'm like, I like to step out of that circle. I just don't want to be part of it. It doesn't mean I won't vote or anything like that, but I just don't want to be part of it, right? So I'm in the world, but I'm not part of it. So going back to your stuff getting harmed and all that, when you do good deeds, if it happens to you, go to church, get sick, hug people, you leave, now you got your sickness on you. You're thinking, what's going on? Might make you not want to ever be around other believers again. It's dangerous. Where was God's protection and all that, right? But I guarantee you that didn't come from God. I guarantee you that sickness, which is darkness, didn't come from God. Okay? I guarantee you God didn't tear my bicep tendon when I fixed that lady's flat tire. I guarantee you God didn't break down my air conditioning in my Nissan Maxima. Because maybe I went to a church group that he didn't approve of, or maybe I didn't give that guy enough money, right? Or maybe God was punishing me because maybe I had the thought, hey, that guy didn't even thank me for it. Maybe he was punishing me for that. Could have thought all those things, but see, that's what the enemy, opposition, adversary wants you to think. He wants you to think that. So you'll get into your head about works and stuff like that, and you become a big mess. So recently, it's been about a week now. Before this happens, so my Nissan Maxima, it just wasn't the kind of car to be using to put I carry a chair around that can pump up and go down and spins and all that. I carry that into people's homes so they can sit in it when I cut their hair. And then I have this big case that I wheel around with all of my supplies and tools in it, okay? And when I would load it in the back seats of my Nissan Maxima, it would scuff, everything would get scuffed up. The seats were getting scuffed up from it. Black marks on it from the wheels of this carrying case and the wheels from the chair and all that. So I bought a used SUV. And I got it for a good price. I save as much money as I can. I store money aside. I always save up, and I also like to give as well. But I don't give to get something in return. I just give, and I practice that, and I give as the Spirit of God inside me leads me to give. I don't count 10%. I don't count 20. I just give. So, because I want to think in an abundance mindset. I'm not saying I'm thinking I'm a millionaire. I'm just not thinking, I'm trying to develop my character so I don't think about lack. Oh, if I give to somebody, that means I'm going to lack something. No, I'm just going to give. And whether I get anything in return or not, doesn't matter. I'm giving. And there's happiness in that, right? And you just got to hold on to that happiness or joy. So I bought this SUV. It was my roommate's son's SUV, so he gave it to me for a good deal. And so I used that to work. And it's so much better to load my things into it. Well, then the SUV had a problem. I had to go get it fixed, and I'm like, oh man. So I go to use the Nissan again because it's my backup vehicle. And I'm like, man, I don't want to scuff up this Nissan. And it's just like, it's a 96. I shouldn't be driving this car mobile for haircuts, you know? It's just, I'm like, maybe I should sell the Nissan and get another backup vehicle, because I kind of need a backup vehicle for what I'm doing. Not that I need a whole bunch of cars, but it's good to have, just in case one breaks down and I have appointments that day, then I got a backup. Do you understand? And while one's getting repaired by the mechanic, I got the other one. So guess what? I bought another little SUV, the one I'm in right now, and I got it for a good price. Both SUVs are the year 2010. So I'm in this SUV here. I take it to work a couple days ago. Oh, but before I tell you about what happened a couple days ago, let me go back to the Nissan real quick. So last week, I'm cutting a friend of mine's hair. This guy has done more for me than anybody in my entire life. I mean, as far as, there's people, let me just take it back. There's people that do a lot. There's people that do so many amazing things for me. Like there's some viewers on here that are just amazing to me, right? And I thank you for it. This friend of mine, I've known him since 2014, before I started doing YouTube. He helped me to publish my first book, a book I wrote called My Jehovah. He helped me to get it published, paid money to help me publish it. I had a car issue in the past, and he gave me a little Toyota Camry. The thing was, it was a 1996, just like the Nissan. Had almost 300,000 miles, or over 300. I think it had over 300,000 miles. Old, but he gave it to me for backup because I was having car issues. He gave it to me. I had times where he would call me on the phone, say, "Hey, Mike, I want to bless you. Will you take a picture of a check for your bank? You know, a bank check. Take a picture with your phone and send it to me." And I'm like, all right. And I'd send him a picture, and suddenly I got $1,000 deposited in my bank. This guy would do stuff like that constantly to me. And when I go to his house and cut him and his son's hair, 2 sons, I mean, he's always blessing me financially, right? And he's just that guy. I'm just saying, he's done more than my family has, right? He's done more for me than my family has throughout my life. He's just a very caring, loving guy. So last time I'm at his house, it was just recently. I'm cutting his hair and his son's hair, his 2 sons, and he's telling me about this guy that's a relative who's having some real hard financial hardships. His wife left him. He's left with 2 sons, I think it was, two boys, and on his own. His wife just left him. I don't know if she took off with another man or whatever. And the guy, he's a cashier at a grocery store. He's older than me. His car doesn't work. He has to Uber to work back and forth. It costs him money. He doesn't have money. You know, do I know anybody that has any used cars or anything? And I'm like thinking about my friend. He's telling me this story, and I'm like, I got a car. And I said, hey, I've got a 1996 Nissan Maxima in great condition. And I said, and it's got 140,000 miles, close to 141. I said, my mechanic says it's a great car. I said, it's got new AC. It's got brand new, all the brakes have been replaced just recently. I'm like, I put brand new brakes, brand new air conditioning, a brand new radiator, a brand new pump, water pump. I'm like, it's good. And he says, how much you want for it? I'll give you whatever it's worth. And I said, you know what, man? I want to do for that guy what you did for me. I said, because I never forgot that. You gave me a car in my time of need. And I said, and if I can be that guy, I would rather be that guy than get the money. And I did it. And I never met this relative of his. I don't know what he looks like. I never met him. I never heard from him. He didn't call me and say, hey, thank you so much. And that's not what I'm looking for. And don't be mad. Don't think, why didn't the guy at least thank you? Hey, it doesn't matter. I'm not in it for thank yous. I just did it, right? And it was something that I felt Holy Spirit moved by it. Like the Spirit of God in me said to do it. Now, so, could have got maybe what, $3,500 for the car maybe, I don't know. Well, so that's last week. So a couple days ago, I went to this guy's house. Before I was at his house to cut his hair, in between appointments, I go from one home to another. And if I have a little extra time, sometimes I might stop by a grocery store or something. I stopped by this store real quick. I'll give you the secret. I just had to use the bathroom real quick. In, out, boom. And they all know me there, right, at that store. And I'm always buying stuff anyway. So I go in, I go out, I get in my car, I go to the next appointment's house. I drive up on his driveway. He's looking at this SUV. He says, oh, you got a new one? Like a new used one. He's like, nice. He says, what happened to the front end there? And I'm like, what? And I get out of the car and I'm looking. I'm like, what happened to the front end? Somebody smashed into my car. They broke the headlight. They put scrapes and dents in the car. I mean, they smashed it. I'm looking. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I stopped at the grocery store right before I came to your house. I'm like, I didn't even see it. And he's like, oh man, that's a bummer. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Okay, so what do I do? Do I get mad about it? Do I try to go to the store and say, hey, you guys got cameras? Can I see who hit my car? I could. I only have liability insurance on this car, which means if I were to be in a collision and it was my fault, my insurance would pay for the damage on the other person's car, but not on mine. And with liability, if somebody hits my car, I'm going to have to pay for it out of pocket. The insurance company is not going to pay for it. So I'm like, well, that's great. I know that's going to cost me a bunch of money if I want to repair it. For right now, I'm just like, you know what? It's a bummer, but it's earthly stuff. I'm storing my treasures in heaven. But how come God didn't at least put an angel next to my car? Didn't God know that somebody was going to smash into my car? Didn't he know that? Couldn't he at least give me a break and let an angel protect it? And think about that. I mean, put yourself in my shoes. Would you kind of think that at least a little bit? Quit being religious and just be real for a second. Or let's say you don't believe in God at all. You believe in the power of the law of attraction, the secret. Okay, so the secret. Do good, and good's drawn to you, right? It's that law of attraction. But how come when I did some good, opposite happens? What happened there? I'm not going to say what happened there. Was it the enemy? Maybe. Maybe it's not so much the person that was driving the car that didn't even leave a note on my windshield and say, hey, sorry, I hit your car. Here's my phone number. Let's exchange insurance information. No, I didn't get the courtesy of that. Maybe the person hit my car and said, that other person's got insurance. Their insurance will take care of it. Bye, and left. Maybe they got scared. Maybe they never hit a car before and they didn't know what to do and they panicked and left. I don't know. Is it possible the enemy used that situation against me? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't think for a moment that he doesn't do things that just seem to be, well, that's just a part of life. Don't think for a moment. that he's not in opposition and adversary against you. And he wants you, listen to me when I say this, he wants you to not know your identity, who you truly are. He wants you to get mixed up in the earthly things, emotional, feeling abandoned by God, being upset, being angry, all this stuff. He wants you to worry financially. He wants you to get out of the zone, the frequency of faith, of trust, of rest. He does not want you resting, which is trusting in the Spirit of Christ in you. He wants you to trust in politicians, in media, in your religious leaders. He wants you to trust in your finances. He wants you to trust in your health plan, your retirement plan, all this stuff that people rely on in this world. He wants you to put your trust in stuff and ideas. But he definitely doesn't want you to put your trust in Christ, because that's his enemy. He hates Christ. He hates the children of Christ. He hates people, because every person on earth is capable of receiving Christ, not by doing good works and staying away from doing bad stuff, but as a free gift if they just believe it. And Christ sets you free. And when this stuff in this world happens to you that other people might panic, you get so angry about, and I'm not saying it's not going to hurt you or mess you up or get you upset. It does. Trust me, it got me upset. So he smashed my car. Didn't even leave the courtesy to leave me insurance information. But you know what? I'm not mad at God about it. Oh. And I'm telling you, I could be like, God, where were you? How come you didn't protect me? Didn't you notice the good thing I did? And see, I don't want to do that. Wait, what about the good thing I did, God? I gave away a car, man. I can't afford to give away a car. I could have, that car, the money I could have got for giving away that car, I could have paid for the repairs on this car. You see what I'm saying? And when you start thinking like that, what happens is you step out of that frequency of trust, of faith. You step out. See, then your faith wavers, right? Let's say you draw two lines, and in between, you want to color in between the two lines, and you don't want to color outside of those lines. So when you're coloring inside of those two lines, you're coloring inside of the frequency of those lines. See, that's your faith. Scripture says, don't let your faith waver. Right? You don't want your faith to waver. You want it to be solid. But when you have things that come at you and attack you in every different direction imaginable, man, who's trying to knock you out of that frequency and get you to get out of that? Scribble out of the lines, waver in your faith. Who's doing that to you? Our battle is not against people. It's against that power that controls those people. The stuff that they succumb to. It's the wicked spiritual forces of darkness. It's the power behind the mindset of these people. So it's not the people, because when you look at people, you have to look at everybody as a brother or sister in Christ, a loved one by God, a child of God, even if they're acting evil and wicked. You have to see potential that they can receive God's love too and forgiveness, just like you and I have. And that's hard to do. Oh, it's so hard to do. Trust me, I know. But you see that wicked, evil person, and then you're thinking, man, God can't ever do anything for them. They're gone way too far. Well, no, that gives God a whole bunch of glory if those people receive Christ in them, because they will have such a powerful testimony, right? Because God takes the worst of us and uses it for his glory. When he puts his light and his love and his life inside of you, it's amazing. That he can take you, me, as we are, He doesn't say, first clean up your act and then I'll rescue you, then I'll give you my life, but first you got to prove yourself to me. No. You bring all your trash to him. And he says, thank you. I take that from you and I give you my goodness. His riches, his treasures that are from heavenly, storing up your treasures in heavens. Does that mean anytime you do a good deed, you're going to get punished for it? Listen, the adversary uses so many techniques, you guys. But it's not going to stop me from doing good, from using what I have, using the gifts God has given me, and learning to be my true self, who God says I am. I only wanted to share this stuff with you, not so I'll have a viewer say, you know what, I'm going to send you money. Nothing like that. Not so you'll feel sorry for me. Not that I can say, guess what I did, you guys? See, I gave you charity. Not at all. That's not it. So please don't think that. Because I know there's a whole bunch of people that think that way. Oh, you're just trying. No. I'm just sharing testimony, you guys. And I'm sharing what happens sometimes when you do things that are good, right? Giving, and what do you get in return? Something like that happens. But you know what? The long-term effects, my friends, the long-term effects. It's just like that bicep tendon tear. That happened to me in 2017. But now we're in 2023, and you know what's been unveiled to me? That if it wasn't for that tear, that hurt me, that caused me a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. But today, it's been used for something good. Just like my past 30 years brainwashed in a destructive cult called Jehovah's Witnesses. The most evil form of religion. 30 years of my life wasted in that cult. But was it a waste? Not at all. Because I have got to be used by God in ways that I don't always share with you guys. But if you knew how many people contact me that have been set free from that cult because of maybe something that they learned from this channel I'm doing on YouTube. It's just amazing. So you know what? No good deed goes unpunished. Well, definitely when you're doing good for God, the devil, he's going to try to punish you for it. He hates it, right? But don't ever think that it's God punishing you or putting you to the test, right? Let's let this happen to see how this person reacts, huh? No, but you know what? For whatever reasons it happens, it happens. But if you can see, if you can just see, and maybe not at the moment, you might not see what the good is in the long run, but if you can just see that when you keep your trust in God and you don't let that faith waver, you are so blessed when you do that. It's such a blessing, you guys, right? And it is a mindset. And that develops your character. And you're not putting your trust in earthly things, but you're putting your trust in God. You're storing your treasures in heaven. You understand? So this isn't me letting my left hand know what my right hand's doing. It's not what I'm doing this for, but it's just to speak to whoever this was supposed to speak to. Right? So, anyway, love you guys. God bless you all. Next time you see me, I'll be 51 on Sunday, which is tomorrow. So you might be watching this on Sunday or Monday or Tuesday. But anyway, Sunday, January 29th, I'll be turning 51 years old. So a bunch of people have been reaching out to me and saying happy birthday to me today. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I'm not correcting them. Hey, it's not today. They just might be trying to be early. But anyway, those of you that have wished me a happy birthday already, thank you so much. And love you guys. I'll see you next time. Have a great one, a great day, a great afternoon, a great night, whatever time it is. Have a great one. Love you. God bless you. See you next time.